The universe is not deaf to your desires. It is simply responding to the language you are speaking. And for most of your life, you have been fluently speaking the language of lack, of struggle, and of not enough. Your reality is a perfect translation of your dominant inner dialogue. You have been asking for a life of poverty, and then wondering why it arrives with such perfect precision. The great liberating truth is that abundance is also a language, a mother tongue of the cosmos itself, and it can be learned. This is not about shouting your wishes into a void. It is about learning to have a clear, coherent, and powerful conversation with a responsive and benevolent universe. This guide is your personal language tutor. It will help you unlearn the old, disempowering dialect of scarcity and teach you, step by step, the beautiful, resonant, and life-changing language of wealth. The Abundance Dialogue, Learning to Speak the Language of Wealth, written and published by Success Attraction Formula. Chapter 1. Unlearning the Language of Lack. A young traveler once found himself in a beautiful, vibrant, and prosperous land. The people were joyful, the markets were overflowing with magnificent goods, and there was an palpable energy of ease and opportunity in the air. Yet the traveler was miserable. He could not order food, he could not ask for directions, and he could not connect with the friendly, smiling people around him. Why? Because he did not speak their language. He was surrounded by a world of wealth and connection, but he was trapped in a lonely and frustrating prison of his own linguistic limitation. This is a profound metaphor for the human condition. We are all living in an infinitely prosperous and benevolent universe, a land overflowing with more than enough of everything we could ever desire. But we feel frustrated, isolated, and poor because we have not learned to speak the native language of this land. Instead, we are fluent in a different tongue entirely, the language of lack. This is our mother tongue, the dialect we learned in the crib. It was taught to us by a well-meaning society and by past generations who were also fluent only in lack. Our inner and outer dialogue is filled with its familiar words and phrases. I can't afford that. It's too hard. There's never enough. I'm so stressed, and you have to struggle to get by. Because this is the only language we speak, it is the only reality we are capable of creating and experiencing. The universe is constantly responding to our words, and because we are constantly speaking of lack, it dutifully and perfectly delivers to us a life filled with more lack. The first, most crucial, and most liberating step in learning the new language of abundance is to first become conscious of the old language you are currently speaking. You must begin the process of unlearning the language of lack. This is not a process of struggle or self-judgment. It is a gentle and fascinating process of becoming a linguist of your own mind. You will begin to listen to your own thoughts and your own spoken words with a new detached curiosity, as if you were a scholar studying a foreign dialect. You will simply notice the recurring words, the habitual phrases, and the grammatical structures of your own scarcity-based language. This simple act of conscious, non-judgmental observation is the most powerful first step you can take. You cannot learn a new language until you first realize that the one you are speaking is limiting you. When you can begin to see your thoughts and words of lack not as the truth, but simply as old, learned linguistic habits, you begin to take your power back. You realize that if you could learn one language, you can certainly learn another, more beautiful, and infinitely more prosperous one. To begin this process of unlearning, you must first become aware of your native tongue of scarcity. Your habitual thoughts and the words you speak are a form of deep, unconscious programming. The first step in changing any program is to bring it into the light of your conscious awareness. For the next week, your only assignment is to become a gentle, curious observer of your own internal and external dialogue. You will carry a small notebook or use a note-taking app on your phone, and you will create your own personal lack lexicon. Every time you catch yourself thinking or saying a phrase that is rooted in lack, fear, or limitation, you will simply write it down. You might be at the grocery store and the thought, "That's too expensive," automatically arises. You will write it down. You might be faced with a new opportunity at work, and your first thought is, "I don't know if I can do that." Write it down. You might hear yourself complaining to a friend, I'm so broke right now. Write it down. Other common phrases might include, I'm so tired, I'll never have enough time, or nothing ever works out for me. The goal of this is not to shame yourself, it is to gather data. By the end of the week, you will have a fascinating and illuminating list. You will be astonished at how frequently and automatically you are speaking the language of lack. This awareness is the key that unlocks the prison door. As you become more aware of your lack lexicon, the second principle is to begin to see these phrases as part of a foreign language that you are choosing to become less fluent in. You will begin to create a sense of separation between you, the conscious, powerful speaker, and the old, automatic language program. When a familiar lack-based thought or phrase arises, instead of automatically identifying with it and believing it to be true, you will practice a simple technique of notice and reframe. You will first notice the thought, I recognize that phrase. That is the old language of lack. This simple act of noticing creates a space. Then you will gently and without force reframe it. This does not mean you should lie to yourself. If you do not have the money in your bank account for something, you will not pretend that you do. The reframe is more subtle and more powerful. For instance, you are looking at a beautiful vacation you would love to take, and the old program says, I can't afford that. You will notice the phrase. Then you can reframe it by asking a more empowering question, such as, how could I afford that? Or by making a more empowering statement, such as, I am choosing to create the resources to be able to enjoy experiences like this. This is a profound shift. You are moving from a statement of limitation to a statement of creative possibility. You are consciously choosing to speak a different, more powerful language. This process of unlearning is not about fighting with your own mind. It is a process of gentle and consistent redirection. Consider the story of a woman named Clara who, through her lack lexicon exercise, discovered that her most common and damaging phrase was, I don't have time. She said it a dozen times a day, and her life was a constant, stressful reflection of that belief. She was always rushing, always late, and always felt behind. She decided to unlearn this phrase. The first step was awareness. Every time the thought, I don't have time, came up, she would simply notice it. Then she began her gentle reframing. Instead of saying, I don't have time, she started to say, I am choosing to focus my time on my highest priorities right now. At first, it felt a little strange, but she persisted. When a friend asked her to join a new committee, and her automatic thought was, I don't have time, she paused. She recognized the old language. Then she consciously chose her new language, and she replied, Thank you so much for thinking of me, but I am choosing to keep my schedule open right now to focus on my priorities. What happened over the next few months was miraculous. By consciously changing her language, she began to change her choices. And by changing her choices, she began to change her reality. She found that she did, in fact, have more time. Her life began to feel more spacious, more peaceful, and more under her own control. She had successfully unlearned a core tenet of the language of lack. You have now begun the most important and foundational step in your new education. You are becoming aware of the old, limiting, and unconscious language of lack that you have been speaking for your entire life. You are learning that your thoughts and words are not harmless, but are powerful creative commands that have been shaping your reality. But as you begin to let go of this old, familiar dialect, a beautiful and exciting new space opens up. What is the new language you are now going to choose to learn and to speak? What are the powerful, foundational, and life-altering words, the core vocabulary, that form the very building blocks of a magnificent and abundant new reality? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula. Give this video a like and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 2. The Core Vocabulary of Abundance. When you decide to learn any new and beautiful language, you do not begin by trying to read its most complex and profound works of literature. You start with the simple, foundational building blocks. You learn how to say hello, how to say please, and how to say thank you. You learn the simple, core words that allow you to begin to navigate and to connect with this new world. The language of abundance is no different. Before you can begin to speak the complex and magnificent symphonies of your grandest desires, you must first learn and master its core vocabulary. These are the simple, powerful, and high-frequency words that form the very foundation of an abundant reality. The great challenge is that, in our eagerness to change our lives, we often try to skip this essential step. We try to jump straight to complex affirmations and grand visualizations without first integrating the basic foundational words of abundance into our very being. Our attempts can feel inauthentic, hollow, and ineffective because we are trying to write a beautiful novel without first learning the alphabet. To become a fluent and powerful speaker of abundance, you must first fall in love with its simplest and most essential words. The transformative solution is to consciously and deliberately begin to integrate the core vocabulary of abundance into your inner and outer dialogue, starting today. You must first understand that words are not just empty labels. They are powerful, vibrational packets of energy. Every word you think and every word you speak has its own unique frequency, and this frequency is constantly tuning your own personal energy field. The words of lack, like can't, broke, and struggle, are dense, low-frequency words that tune you to a reality of limitation. The core words of abundance are light, expansive, and high-frequency words that will begin to automatically and effortlessly tune you to a reality of ease, of sufficiency, and of grace. By consciously choosing to introduce these new words into your daily vocabulary, you are beginning the profound and practical work of recalibrating your entire energetic being. You are learning the new alphabet from which you will soon be able to write any magnificent story you choose. The first, the most powerful, and the most essential word in the entire vocabulary of abundance is gratitude. Gratitude is not just a polite emotion or a spiritual platitude. It is the foundational hello and thank you of the abundance dialogue. It is the single word that more than any other acknowledges the good that is already present in your life. The language of lack is always focused on what is missing. The language of gratitude is always focused on what is here. By simply shifting your focus and your language to what you are grateful for, you instantly and powerfully shift your vibrational frequency from one of lack to one of abundance. The practice for this is simple and profound. Every single day you will start a gratitude log. You will find and write down at least 3 specific, unique things that you are grateful for. It is crucial that you are specific. Instead of a generic, I'm grateful for my family, you will write, I'm so grateful for the way my partner smiled at me this morning, or I'm grateful for the funny joke my child told me. This specificity makes the feeling of gratitude real and tangible. As you do this, you are not just making a list. You are actively training your brain to scan your world for good, and you are learning to speak the most powerful word of abundance. The second core word in your new vocabulary is possibility. The language of lack is dominated by the heavy, door-slamming words of impossible, I can't, and there's no way. These words are a dead end. They shut down all creativity and all potential. The word possibility, and its many beautiful variations, is the direct and powerful antidote. It is a key that unlocks 1,000 new doors. The practice is to become a possibility thinker. Whenever you are faced with a challenge or a desire, and you hear that old, familiar voice of lack saying, that's impossible, you will consciously and deliberately introduce the language of possibility. You will ask yourself a series of gentle, expansive questions. Instead of, I can't afford that, you will ask, what is one small thing I could do that would move me in the direction of affording that? What are some creative possibilities for generating the money for this? Instead of, there's no way I can solve this problem, you will ask, I wonder what possibilities exist that I haven't considered yet. What if there is an easy and elegant solution that is just waiting for me to discover it? This shift in language is incredibly powerful. It takes you out of the role of the victim and places you in the role of the creative problem solver. It opens your mind to new ideas, and it signals to the universe that you are open and available for creative solutions to be delivered to you. The third essential word in your new abundance vocabulary is sufficiency. The core engine of the language of lack is the pervasive and painful feeling of not enough. Not enough money, not enough time, not enough love. The beautiful and peaceful word sufficiency is the direct and healing antidote. Sufficiency is the simple, profound, and truthful recognition of the enoughness that is already present in your life. It is the calm and centered state of being that exists between the frantic energies of lack and excess. The practice for this is to actively look for evidence of sufficiency in your present moment. When the old story of not enough money begins to play, you can pause and find the sufficiency in the now. Right now, in this moment, I have a roof over my head, I have food in my refrigerator, I have enough air to breathe. In this moment, I have enough. When the story of not enough time arises, you can pause and affirm, I have exactly enough time to do what is most important for me to do right now. This practice does not deny your desire for more, but it completely dissolves the desperate, needy energy of lack. You begin to operate from a powerful and peaceful foundation of, I already have enough, and I am joyfully open to even more. This feeling of sufficiency is an incredibly magnetic and attractive frequency. As you begin to integrate these three core words, gratitude, possibility, and sufficiency, into your daily dialogue, your entire energetic state will begin to transform. Consider a person facing a challenging financial situation. The person speaking the old language of lack would be consumed by the story. I'm so broke. This is impossible. I'll never have enough money. Their energy would be one of fear, of despair, and of contraction. Now consider a person in the exact same situation who is beginning to learn the new language. Their inner dialogue would be different. They might say, okay, this is a challenging situation, but I am so grateful for the strength I have to face it, and for the friends who are supporting me, gratitude. I wonder what new possibilities might emerge from this challenge, possibility. And I know that in this moment, I have sufficient resources to get through today, sufficiency. Can you feel the profound difference in the energy? The second person is not denying their reality, but they are speaking a language of empowerment, of creativity, and of faith. This is the language the universe loves to respond to. You are now learning the powerful and beautiful core words of the language of abundance. You are beginning to replace the old, heavy, and limiting dialect of lack with a new light and expansive vocabulary of grace. But a collection of beautiful words on their own does not yet make a powerful statement. How do you now begin to arrange these beautiful new words into powerful, coherent, and creative sentences? What is the divine grammar, the sacred sentence structure, that can transform your new vocabulary into a clear, powerful, and highly effective request to the universe? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula. Give this video a like and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 3. The Grammar of a Powerful Request. A random collection of beautiful and powerful words, when thrown together without structure, is just a form of poetry. It can be evocative, but it lacks the clear, direct force of a powerful communication. However, when those same words are arranged with the clear, precise, and dependable rules of grammar, they can become a binding legal contract, a set of architectural blueprints that can build a skyscraper, or a command that can launch a great ship on its journey. The grammar is what gives the vocabulary its structure, its clarity, and its creative power. The same is profoundly true for your dialogue with the universe. You are now learning the beautiful, high-frequency vocabulary of abundance. But to use these words to make a truly powerful and effective request, you must learn to speak and to think with the grammar of abundance. The great challenge is that most of us, even when we try to be positive, are still making our requests to the universe using the old, weak, and ineffective grammar of lack. We say things like, I hope I will get that promotion, or I wish I could have a better relationship, or most commonly we focus on what we do not want by saying, I don't want to be in debt anymore. This sentence structure is inherently weak. It is based in a future that may or may not happen. It is filled with the hesitant energy of hope rather than the powerful energy of knowing, and it is often focused on the negative. This is a grammatically incorrect request, and it sends a muddled, confused, and powerless signal to the universe. The transformative solution is to become a master of the simple, elegant, and incredibly powerful grammar of a powerful request. Just as there are grammatical rules that create clarity and power in human language, there are energetic grammatical rules that create clarity and power in your universal dialogue. When you learn to formulate your thoughts and your intentions using this sacred grammar, you are no longer sending out a weak and hopeful wish. You are constructing a clear, coherent, and powerful creative command. You are speaking to the universe in a language that it can not only understand, but that it is compelled by its own laws to respond to. This is not about being rigid or dogmatic. It is about learning the simple and elegant sentence structure that will allow your beautiful new vocabulary to be expressed with its maximum creative and magnetic power. The first and most important rule of this new grammar is the rule of the present tense. You must speak of your desires as if they are already your present-day reality. The subconscious mind, the powerful and creative part of you that is in direct communication with the universe, does not have a concept of the future. It only understands the now. When you say, "I hope I will be wealthy one day," your subconscious mind hears, "The reality, right now, is that I am not wealthy." You are, in that moment, powerfully affirming your own lack. The grammar of a powerful request is always the grammar of is, not the grammar of will be. The practice for this is to consciously and deliberately shift the tense of your inner and outer statements. Instead of, "I want to be in a joyful and loving relationship," you will now practice the new grammatical structure. "I am in a joyful and loving relationship." At first, your conscious, logical mind may rebel. It may say, "That's not true. You are lying to yourself." You must gently bypass this objection by understanding that you are not describing your current physical reality. You are using the power of the present tense to describe the deeper energetic reality that you are now choosing to create. You are speaking of your desire not as a distant future hope, but as a present tense energetic fact. This is the most powerful grammatical shift you can ever make. The second unbreakable rule of this grammar is the rule of the positive focus. The universe and your subconscious mind do not process negatives. They are like a powerful search engine. They only focus on the subject of your statement. If you say, "I don't want to be sick," the universe does not hear the don't. It simply hears a powerful focus on sick, and it will bring you more experiences that match that vibrational subject. The grammar of lack is obsessed with focusing on and pushing against what is not wanted. The grammar of abundance always and only focuses on what is wanted. The practice, therefore, is to become a vigilant editor of your own sentences. You will scan your thoughts and your speech for any statement that is focused on what you do not want, and you will consciously and deliberately rephrase it into a positive statement of what you do want. For example, the statement, "I am so tired of struggling with debt," is a powerful, grammatically incorrect request for more struggle and more debt. The grammatically correct version would be, "I am so happy and grateful that I am now living a life of financial freedom and overflow." Instead of, "I don't want to be lonely," you will say, "My life is filled with beautiful, loving, and meaningful connections." This practice requires conscious effort at first, but with time, it will become your new, automatic way of speaking and thinking. You will be using the powerful grammar of creation, not the grammar of complaint. With these two primary rules in mind, the present tense and the positive focus, you can now begin to practice crafting your own declarative sentences. These are your powerful, grammatically correct affirmations, your formal requests to the universe. You will take the core vocabulary you have been learning, gratitude, possibility, sufficiency, and you will weave them into these powerful sentences. For example, a weak, grammatically incorrect request from the old language would be, "I hope it's possible for me to have enough money so I don't have to worry." A powerful, grammatically correct declarative sentence from your new language would be, "I am so grateful that I now live in a reality of infinite possibility where a sufficient and overflowing supply of all good things comes to me with ease and grace." Can you feel the immense difference in the power and the energy of these two sentences? The practice is to write down 2 or 3 of your own new declarative sentences. You will then practice speaking them aloud in front of a mirror, looking into your own eyes. You will feel the energetic shift in your own body as you move from the weak and hesitant grammar of lack to the clear, confident, and powerful grammar of abundance. You now possess the foundational elements of a powerful and life-changing new language. You have begun to unlearn the old dialect of lack. You are mastering the core vocabulary of abundance, and you are now learning the sacred and powerful grammar that gives your words their creative force. You can now construct a clear, powerful, and grammatically correct request. But what is the final, essential element that gives this new language its soul? What is the invisible, potent, and absolutely crucial emotional energy that can transform a well-formed sentence from a dry, technical, and lifeless statement into a magnetic, resonant, and irresistible broadcast that the universe cannot help but respond to? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 4. Speaking with the Feeling of Wealth. Imagine two different people are standing before you, and they are about to say the exact same three words to you. I love you. The first person says the words with a flat, empty, and monotonous tone. Their eyes are wandering around the room, their posture is slumped, and they are checking their phone as they speak. You hear the words, but you do not feel the message. The communication is hollow, and it fails to land in your heart. Now, imagine the second person. They turn to you, they look deeply and lovingly into your eyes, they take your hand, and with a voice that is filled with genuine warmth, with sincerity, and with profound emotion, they say those same three words, I love you. In this second scenario, you do not just hear the words, you feel them with every cell of your being. The words are the same, but the messages are worlds apart. What is the difference? It is the feeling. It is the invisible, emotional, and energetic current that carries the words and gives them their true meaning and their power. This is the final and most important lesson in learning to speak the language of wealth. You can learn all the right vocabulary and you can master the perfect grammar, but if your words are not infused with the authentic, congruent feeling of abundance, your dialogue with the universe will remain hollow and ineffective. The universe, like your own heart, responds not to the words you say, but to the feeling with which you say them. The great challenge at this stage is that many of us have been taught to disconnect from our emotions. We live in our heads, in the world of logic, of planning, and of analysis. And so, when we begin to practice this new language of abundance, we can approach it as a purely intellectual exercise. We repeat our affirmations mechanically. We write our gratitude lists like a chore, and we think about our desires, but we do not truly feel them. We are speaking the language with a thick, heavy, and unconvincing foreign accent of our old doubt and disbelief. And the universe, which is a master linguist of emotion, hears this accent far more loudly than it hears our carefully chosen words. It hears the underlying vibration of lack, even as we are speaking the words of abundance. To become a truly fluent and powerful speaker, you must learn to speak not just with your mind, but with your whole heart and with your entire being. The transformative solution is to understand the profound and simple truth that the feeling is the language. Your emotions are not just random, subjective experiences. They are precise and powerful vibrational frequencies. They are the carrier waves that take your thoughts and your words and broadcast them out into the universe. A thought of abundance that is carried on a wave of joyful, grateful feeling is a powerful and coherent signal. A thought of abundance that is carried on a wave of doubtful, anxious feeling is a weak and contradictory signal. Therefore, your most important work in this dialogue is to become a method actor of abundance. A method actor does not just pretend to be a character. They find a way to generate the authentic emotions of that character from within themselves. In the same way, you must learn to not just think about wealth, but to genuinely and authentically generate the feeling of wealth in your own body, right here and right now, even before your external circumstances have changed. When you can learn to speak your intentions and to simultaneously feel the congruent emotion of their fulfillment, you are no longer just sending a message, you are becoming the message. And this is a message that the universe will respond to with breathtaking speed and power. The first and most direct way to generate this feeling is to use your own body as a powerful tool. Your physical posture and your emotional state are in a constant two-way conversation. It is very difficult to feel powerful and confident when your body is slumped in a posture of defeat. It is equally difficult to feel depressed when your body is in a posture of joyful celebration. You can use your body to lead your emotions. The practice for this is postural alignment. You will first take a moment to identify the physical posture of your desired state. How would a person who is already living a life of joyful, confident abundance stand? Their shoulders would likely be back, their chest would be open, their head would be held high, and their breathing would be deep and relaxed. Now, contrast this with the posture of lack, which is often contracted, hunched, and characterized by shallow breathing. Your practice is to consciously and deliberately adopt the physical posture of abundance as often as you can throughout your day. When you are feeling a wave of doubt or worry, you will perform a pattern interrupt. You will literally stand up, pull your shoulders back, take a deep breath, and maybe even put a big, confident smile on your face for 30 seconds. This simple, physical act sends a powerful message to your brain and your nervous system, which will begin to release the chemicals and the hormones that correspond with a feeling of confidence and well-being. You are using your body to change the conversation. Building on this physical foundation, you will then learn to use your mind's creative power to generate the feeling. The practice is emotional immersion. You will take your beautifully crafted, declarative sentence, and you will use it as the script for a short daily mental movie. But your only goal in this movie is to generate the feeling. You will sit in a quiet space, and you will repeat your declarative sentence. For example, I am so grateful to be living in a state of joyful financial freedom. Then you will ask yourself, what does that feel like? You will use your creative imagination to immerse yourself in that feeling. What is the feeling of relief like in your body when you know all your bills are paid with ease? What is the feeling of freedom like when you can generously treat your loved ones to a beautiful experience? You will marinate in this feeling. You will let it fill you up. The key is to not just see it in your mind, but to feel it in your heart and in your gut. This daily practice of emotional immersion is like a musician practicing their scales. You are practicing the emotional note of abundance so that it becomes more and more familiar, more and more natural, and more easy for you to hold throughout your day. To help you maintain this feeling, you can create a series of emotional anchors. An anchor is a simple, external trigger that you can use to instantly and automatically reconnect you with your desired feeling state. An anchor can be a piece of music, a specific scent, a physical object, or a photograph. The practice is to charge your anchor with your desired emotion. During your emotional immersion practice, when you are at the peak of feeling your desired state of abundance, you will engage one of your senses. You might listen to a specific, uplifting song, or you might hold a small, smooth crystal in your hand, or you might inhale the scent of a particular essential oil. You are creating a powerful neurological link between that external stimulus and your internal emotional state. Then, throughout your day, whenever you feel yourself slipping into the old language of lack, you can use your anchor. You can put on that song, you can hold that crystal, or you can smell that oil, and it will act as an instant trigger, a shortcut that will immediately help you to recall and re-embody the powerful and magnetic feeling of wealth. You are now learning to become a truly fluent and magnificent speaker of the language of abundance. You have learned the core vocabulary. You have mastered the powerful grammar of a clear request. And now, you are learning how to speak this language with the authentic, resonant, and irresistible accent of genuine feeling. You are not just saying the words, you are becoming the music. But to become truly fluent in any new language, you must do more than just practice it in a quiet room by yourself. You must immerse yourself in its culture. How do you now begin to surround yourself in your daily life with the beautiful, resonant, and life-changing energy of wealth, making it your new, natural, and permanent environment? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 5. Immersing yourself in a rich world. The fastest and most effective way to become fluent in any new language is through the power of total immersion. You can study grammar books and vocabulary lists for years in a classroom, but a single month spent living in the country where the language is spoken, where you are surrounded by its sounds, its culture, and its energy every single day, will advance your fluency in ways that years of academic study never could. This is because language is more than just words. It is a living, breathing environment. The same is profoundly true for the language of abundance. You have done the beautiful and essential work of learning its core vocabulary, of mastering its powerful grammar, and of learning to speak it with the authentic accent of genuine feeling. You are practicing your new language. But the great challenge at this stage is that for the 23 hours a day, when you are not consciously practicing, you are often still living in a foreign country, a world that is constantly speaking your old, native tongue of lack. You are immersed in news reports of scarcity, you are surrounded by conversations of complaint, and you are living in a physical environment that may still reflect your old story of not enough. This creates a powerful and conflicting energetic environment that can slow down your progress and make it difficult for your new language to become your natural, default way of being. The transformative solution is to consciously and deliberately create your own immersion environment for abundance. You must become the architect of your own personal world, curating it so that it becomes a beautiful, supportive, and constant reflection of the very language you are choosing to learn. This is about making the language of abundance not just something you practice, but something you live in. When you surround yourself with the sights, the sounds, and the feelings of wealth, of possibility, and of gratitude, you are making it infinitely easier for your own mind and your own energy to become fluent in this new reality. You are creating a powerful, self-reinforcing feedback loop. Your environment begins to speak your new language back to you, which strengthens your own fluency, which in turn attracts even more abundant circumstances into your environment. This is the art of turning your entire life into a magnificent and effective language school for the beautiful and prosperous dialogue you are choosing to have with the universe. The first and most powerful aspect of your immersion environment is your informational diet. The information you consume every single day is the primary food for your mind and your emotional state. If you are constantly feeding your mind a diet of fear, of crisis, and of lack from the news and from social media, it is the equivalent of a language student trying to learn French while listening to English talk radio 24 hours a day. You must become a conscious and deliberate curator of the information you allow into your sacred inner space. The practice for this is to perform an information audit. For 1 week, pay close attention to how you feel after you consume different types of media. How do you feel after watching the nightly news? How do you feel after scrolling through your social media feed? How do you feel after listening to an inspiring podcast or reading a chapter of an uplifting book? Your feelings are the guide. Your work is to then lovingly and without judgment begin to minimize your consumption of the information that leaves you feeling contracted, anxious, and speaking the language of lack. And you will proactively and joyfully increase your consumption of information that leaves you feeling expansive, inspired, and speaking the language of possibility. This is not about being uninformed. It is about choosing to be inner-formed by sources that align with the beautiful, abundant world you are choosing to create. The second aspect of your immersion environment is your physical environment. Your home, your workspace, and your car are not just neutral backdrops to your life. They are powerful, three-dimensional expressions of the language you are speaking. A cluttered, disorganized, and neglected space is constantly speaking the language of chaos, of overwhelm, and of not enough. A clean, beautiful, and organized space is constantly speaking the language of peace, of order, and of abundance. You must begin to curate your physical environment so that it becomes a beautiful classroom for your new language. The practice is environmental alignment. You do not need to spend a lot of money. This is about intention. You will begin the process of decluttering your space, releasing anything that does not feel beautiful and aligned with the prosperous person you are becoming. You will then intentionally add small touches of beauty and abundance. It could be a single beautiful flower in a vase on your desk. It could be taking the time to make your bed beautifully every morning. It could be creating a vision board with images that represent the abundant life you are creating and placing it somewhere you will see it every day. By creating a physical environment that feels prosperous, you are providing yourself with constant nonverbal cues that reinforce the new language you are learning. You are creating a world that is a beautiful reflection of the new dialogue you are having with the universe. The third and final aspect of your immersion is your conversational environment. The people we speak with and the conversations we engage in have a profound and direct impact on our own linguistic habits. If you spend most of your time with people who are fluent only in the language of lack, who constantly complain, who gossip, and who focus on problems, it is very difficult to practice your own new language. Their energy and their words will inevitably pull you back into your old patterns. You must therefore become a conscious curator of your conversations. The practice is twofold. First, you must become aware of the nature of your own contributions to conversations. Are you a source of complaint or a source of encouragement? Are you focused on the problem or are you focused on the possibility of a solution? You will consciously choose to be the person in the conversation who speaks the language of abundance. Second, you must lovingly and gracefully manage your exposure to conversations that are deeply rooted in lack. This may mean learning to gently change the subject when a conversation turns to complaint. It may mean lovingly limiting your time with people who are committed to their own scarcity. And most importantly, it means proactively seeking out and cultivating relationships with people who are also on a path of growth and who are learning to speak this beautiful new language with you. By immersing yourself in uplifting and possibility-oriented conversations, you are creating a supportive and encouraging environment that will dramatically accelerate your own journey to fluency. You are now a dedicated and brilliant student, and you have created the perfect immersion environment for your new language to flourish. You are speaking the language with more confidence, with more feeling, and with more consistency. You are not just practicing the dialogue of abundance. You are beginning to live in a world that reflects it back to you. But a true dialogue is a two-way street. You have been learning to speak clearly and powerfully to the universe. How do you now begin to quiet your own voice and to learn the subtle and beautiful art of hearing the universe when it replies back to you? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 6. Hearing the Universe Reply to You. A conversation by its very nature is a two-way street. It is a beautiful and dynamic exchange of speaking and of listening. A person who only speaks, who never pauses to listen for a reply, is not in a dialogue. They are engaged in a monologue. For all your beautiful work in learning to speak the language of abundance, your journey to fluency is incomplete until you also learn to master the gentle and profound art of listening. You have learned how to formulate your requests with clarity, with feeling, and with power. Now, you must learn how to quiet your own voice, to open your own heart, and to hear the beautiful, loving, and often surprising replies that the universe is constantly sending to you. The great challenge is that we have been conditioned to listen for the universe's reply in only one very specific way. We are waiting for the loud, booming voice from the heavens, the dramatic, undeniable, and miraculous sign that our request has been heard. We are waiting for the final, grand answer. And because we are so focused on listening for this one, loud, and rare form of communication, we are often completely deaf to the thousands of subtle, gentle, and beautiful whispers, signs, and synchronicities that are the universe's primary way of speaking back to us. We are waiting for a shout, while the universe is engaged in an intimate and constant conversation of whispers. The transformative and most magical part of your journey is to become a master listener. It is to develop the inner quiet and the heightened sensitivity required to hear the subtle, symbolic, and deeply personal language that the universe uses to communicate with you every single day. You must understand that the universe is always replying to you. There is not a single moment where the dialogue has ceased. Your work is to learn to tune your inner ear to its beautiful and often mysterious frequency. When you learn to hear the universe's replies, your entire experience of life is transformed. You move from a state of hopeful asking to a state of confident, co-creative dialogue. You are no longer just sending messages out into a silent void. You are engaged in a constant, loving, and supportive conversation with an infinitely intelligent and benevolent partner. This builds an unshakable foundation of trust and faith, and it turns your life into a magical and exciting adventure where you are constantly on the lookout for the next beautiful, clever, and loving reply from the cosmos. The first and most common way the universe replies is through the language of synchronicity. A synchronicity is a meaningful coincidence, an event or a series of events that are so timely and so personally relevant to your ask that they feel as though they have been perfectly orchestrated just for you. These are the universe's winks, its loving and playful nudges to let you know, I heard you, we are in sync. You are on the right track. These replies can take an infinite number of forms. It might be that you have just made a request for more creative inspiration, and you suddenly start seeing the word create everywhere, on a billboard, in a magazine, in an email subject line. It might be that you are feeling unsure about a decision, and you open a book to a random page that contains the perfect piece of advice. It might be seeing repeating number patterns, like 1111 or 444, which often serve as a general confirmation of alignment. The key to hearing these messages is to pay attention and to trust your own intuitive response. The practice is to start a reply log. In a journal, you will simply note down these meaningful events. I was worried about a financial issue, and I found a $10 bill on the sidewalk. I took it as a reply from the universe that I am supported. By documenting these replies, you are sending a message back to the universe that you are listening, which will often cause the replies to become even more frequent and clear. The second way the universe often replies is through people as messengers. The universe is an infinitely intelligent and efficient system, and it often uses the people in our lives, and even strangers, to deliver its messages and opportunities. A person who crosses your path is rarely there by accident, especially after you have made a powerful and specific request. You must learn to see every person as a potential messenger, a divine agent who may be carrying a reply for you. For example, you have made a request for the perfect new client for your business. The next day, you are at a party, and you strike up a conversation with someone who it turns out is in desperate need of the exact service you provide. This is not a coincidence. This is a direct reply. Another example. You are struggling with a problem, and you have asked for clarity. You are in a coffee shop, and you overhear a conversation at the next table where someone is describing the perfect solution to a problem that is identical to yours. This is a reply. The practice is to remain open, present, and curious in all of your interactions. You will listen not just with your ears, but with your whole being, always gently asking yourself, is there a message for me here? Is this a reply? By adopting this mindset, you will discover that you are surrounded by a constant stream of loving guidance, delivered through the most beautiful and unexpected human channels. The third and most subtle way the universe replies is through the voice of your own intuition. Your intuition is your most direct and personal line of communication with the universe. It is the quiet, calm, all-knowing voice of your own soul, which is eternally connected to the universal mind. An intuitive hit, a gut feeling, or a sudden inspired idea that seems to come from out of nowhere is often the clearest and most direct reply you will ever receive. The challenge is that the voice of intuition is a whisper, while the voice of your ego, your fear-based mind, is a shout. To hear your intuitive replies, you must have cultivated the inner silence that we discussed in the first chapter. The practice is to discern the difference. The voice of your ego is usually loud, urgent, anxious, and often critical. it will create a feeling of contraction and tightness in your body. The voice of your intuition, on the other hand, is almost always quiet, calm, neutral, and has a feeling of gentle certainty and peace. It will create a feeling of expansion and rightness in your body. When you receive a sudden idea or a gut feeling, you will learn to pause and to check in with your body. How does this guidance feel? By consistently practicing this discernment, you will learn to trust the quiet, peaceful voice as your most reliable and direct reply from the universe. You are now learning to become a master of a two-way dialogue. You know how to speak the language of abundance with clarity and with feeling, and you are now learning to quiet your own voice and to hear the beautiful, constant, and loving replies of the universe. But a conversation is more than just speaking and listening. It is an interactive dance. What is the next step in this divine dialogue? How do you now take the replies you have received, the signs, the opportunities, the intuitive nudges, and respond to them through your own actions? How do you learn to converse with the universe through the powerful and creative language of inspired action? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 7. Conversing through Inspired Action. In any beautiful and engaging conversation, the dialogue flows back and forth in a graceful and responsive dance. One person speaks, and the other listens. Then the listener, having received the message, responds. This response is a crucial part of the conversation. It is the action that signals, I have heard you, I have understood you, and here is my contribution to our shared dialogue. This is what keeps the conversation alive, dynamic, and moving forward. Your dialogue with the universe is this very same dance. You have learned to speak your request with clarity. You have learned to quiet yourself and to listen for the universe's reply. Now comes the crucial and active part of the conversation, your response. Your inspired actions are your reply back to the universe. They are the way you say yes to the opportunities it presents. They are the way you demonstrate that you are a willing, engaged, and active partner in this co-creative dance. The great challenge at this stage is that after we have received a reply from the universe, an intuitive nudge, a new idea, a synchronistic opportunity, we can become paralyzed by fear or indecision. We have heard the message, but we fail to act on it. We miss our cue in the dance. And when we fail to respond, the beautiful, flowing conversation can grind to a halt. The universe has done its part by sending the opportunity, but if we do not do our part by acting on it, the creative momentum is lost. The transformative and most empowering step in your dialogue is to become a master of inspired action. You must understand that your actions are a powerful and essential form of communication with the universe. They are your spoken words in the language of physical reality. When you act decisively on the guidance you receive, you are sending a powerful and resonant signal back to the universe that says, yes, I am in this dance with you. I am ready for the next step. This is what keeps the dialogue flowing and what accelerates the manifestation of your desires at a breathtaking rate. It is crucial to understand the difference between inspired action and forceful action. Forceful action, or hustle, is born of the ego's fear and its belief that you have to make everything happen by yourself. It feels heavy, stressful, and like a struggle. Inspired action, on the other hand, is the natural and joyful response to a cue from the universe. It feels light, exciting, intuitive, and often effortless. It is not something you have to force yourself to do. It is something you feel genuinely pulled and inspired to do. Learning to recognize and to act upon this inspired guidance is the key to becoming a masterful and effective co-creator. The first principle in mastering this is learning to trust the nudge. As we discussed, the universe's replies often come in the form of quiet, intuitive nudges, a sudden urge to call someone, to visit a certain place, or to start a new project. These nudges are your divine choreography, the universe's way of telling you your next move in the dance. Your primary work is to build an unshakable trust in this inner guidance and to act on it without hesitation. The practice for this is the 5-second rule, which we have explored in other contexts. When you receive a clear, intuitive nudge to take a positive action, you will give yourself 5 seconds to physically start moving before your logical, fearful mind has a chance to talk you out of it. For example, you have been asking for a new stream of income. You are meditating one morning and you get a sudden, brilliant, and exciting idea for a new online course you could create. This is the universe's reply. Your ego mind will immediately jump in with all the reasons it is a bad idea. You don't have time, no one will buy it, it's too much work. The master of inspired action will feel the excitement of the initial idea, and within 5 seconds they will take one small physical action. They will open a new document on their computer and type the title of the course. This small, decisive action honors the intuitive nudge and immediately begins to ground the idea in physical reality. It is your yes back to the universe. The second principle is understanding the power of the first step. Inspired action does not usually require you to take a massive, life-altering leap all at once. The universe is a gentle and loving partner. It will almost always guide you one small, manageable step at a time. The power is in your willingness to take that first, often simple step. This first step is a powerful act of commitment. It is your declaration that you are serious about this new chapter of your dialogue. And once you take that first step with faith, the universe will then illuminate the next step and the next and the next. For example, your great desire is to move to a new city across the country. The thought of the entire process is overwhelming and leads to paralysis. But the universe sends you a reply, an intuitive nudge to simply go online and look at pictures of that city. That is the inspired first step. You do it. As you are looking at the pictures, you feel a surge of joy and resonance. This feeling then inspires the next step, to research a few specific neighborhoods. That research then inspires the next step, to reach out to a friend who lives there. Each small, inspired action builds on the last, creating a beautiful and almost effortless momentum that will eventually and gracefully carry you all the way to your new home. Your only job is to focus on and to take the one inspired step that is right in front of you. The third and ultimate principle of conversing through inspired action is embodying the answer. As you continue to act on the replies you receive, a beautiful process of integration begins. You are not just doing the actions, you are beginning to become the person who lives the reality you are creating. The ultimate form of inspired action is to live your entire day from the embodied state of your wish already fulfilled. This is where your conversation with the universe becomes seamless and constant. The practice is to consistently ask yourself, how would the person who is already living my desired reality act in this moment? For example, your desire is to be a confident and respected leader in your field. The universe sends you a reply, an opportunity to speak at a team meeting. Your inspired action is to say yes, but you will then take it a step further. You will embody the answer by preparing for and delivering that presentation, as if you were already the confident and respected leader you desire to be. You will speak with clarity, you will hold a confident posture, and you will share your ideas with passion. By embodying the answer, you are not just responding to the universe. You are becoming a living, breathing demonstration of your new, chosen reality. This is the most powerful and creative conversation of all. It is you and the universe, no longer just talking about a new reality, but joyfully and actively creating it together in the present moment. You are now a full and active partner in a magnificent and ongoing dialogue with the universe. You know how to speak, how to listen, and now how to respond with powerful, decisive, and inspired action. You are in the beautiful, creative dance of co-creation. But what is the final stage of this journey? What does it mean to move from being a person who is learning the language of abundance to a person who has become so completely fluent that it is their new, natural, and permanent mother tongue? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 8. Becoming Fluent in Abundance. Imagine a person who has spent a lifetime learning a beautiful new language. In the beginning, their journey was one of conscious effort. They had to memorize the vocabulary, they had to practice the grammar, and they had to consciously translate every sentence in their head before they could speak. But after years of dedicated immersion and joyful practice, a magical and profound shift occurs. One day, they wake up and they realize that they are no longer translating. They are thinking in the new language. They are even dreaming in the new language. The language is no longer a foreign tongue that they have to practice. It has become a deep, integrated, and natural part of who they are. They have become a native speaker. They have achieved true fluency. This is the ultimate and most beautiful destination on your journey of learning the language of wealth. The final stage of your evolution is to stop practicing the dialogue of abundance and to simply become a native speaker. It is the point where the principles of this guide are no longer a set of techniques you apply, but are the very fabric of your being. The great challenge at this final stage is the temptation to remain a student forever, to always see abundance as a second language, something that requires conscious effort to speak. The final liberation is to integrate these truths so deeply that they become your new, automatic, and joyful mother tongue. The transformative solution, the final and most profound chapter of your learning, is to fully and completely become fluent in abundance. This is the point where you move from a person who is having a conversation about abundance to a person who is the living, breathing embodiment of that conversation. It is the integration of all that you have learned until it becomes your new, natural, and unconscious way of being. When you become fluent, your default thoughts are no longer of lack, but of gratitude. Your automatic assumptions are no longer of impossibility, but of creative possibility. Your habitual emotional state is no longer one of worry, but of a quiet and unshakable trust. In this state of fluency, manifestation is no longer something you have to do. It is a constant and effortless byproduct of who you have become. Your life becomes a beautiful, flowing, and ever-expanding dialogue with a universe that is joyfully and constantly speaking your own native language back to you. The first and most important sign of true fluency is that your thinking becomes your being. In the earlier stages, you had to consciously work to reframe your negative thoughts and to choose your new, abundant language. In the state of fluency, this process becomes automatic. Your mind, having been so consistently and lovingly retrained, now naturally and habitually thinks in the language of abundance. The practice for solidifying this is to simply relax and to trust the work you have already done. It is to let go of the need to constantly monitor your thoughts and to instead trust that your new positive thought stream has become the dominant current in the river of your mind. You will notice that your first automatic reaction to a challenge is no longer fear, but curiosity. You will notice that your spontaneous daydreams are no longer about worry, but about beautiful creative possibilities. This is the sign that the new language has moved from your conscious mind into the deep, powerful, and automatic realm of your subconscious. You are no longer translating. You are now thinking and therefore being in the language of your new reality. The second profound sign of fluency is that you experience the joy of circulation. A person who is still learning a language can be hesitant to speak, afraid of making a mistake. A fluent speaker, however, speaks freely, joyfully, and with confidence. In the same way, a person who has become truly fluent in the language of abundance is no longer afraid of lack, and so they can participate in the beautiful divine circulation of wealth with joy and without fear. This means you become as graceful and as joyful at giving as you are at receiving. You understand that abundance is not a stagnant pool to be hoarded, but a magnificent river that is meant to flow through you. The practice here is to simply and joyfully act on your generous impulses. When you feel the authentic, heartfelt desire to be generous, to share your time, your wisdom, your money, or your love, you do so freely and without any thought of what you will get in return. This is not a strategy to get more. It is the natural and joyful expression of a person who knows, on a cellular level, that their source is infinite and that they are a channel for its expression. This joyful giving is the ultimate sign of a person who is no longer speaking from a root language of lack, but who is now a true native speaker of abundance. The third and ultimate sign of fluency is that the abundance dialogue becomes your identity. This is the final and most beautiful integration. You come to the profound realization that you are not a separate person who is having a conversation with the universe. You realize that you are the conversation. You and the universe are one, and your life is the beautiful, ever-unfolding dialogue of that oneness. The separation between the speaker and the listener dissolves. You are the universe, speaking to itself and listening to itself, in a constant, loving, and creative feedback loop. In this state, the very need to ask for specific things begins to fall away. You trust so deeply in your connection to the infinite source of all good that you know you will always be guided to your highest joy and your greatest expression. Your only desire becomes to be a clearer and more beautiful channel for this divine intelligence to flow through you. Your life becomes a living prayer, a walking, talking embodiment of the love, the wisdom, and the infinite abundance that is the very essence of the cosmos. You have now walked the complete and sacred path of learning the language of wealth. You have journeyed from the first, fumbling attempts to unlearn the old, limiting dialect of lack, to becoming a fluent, confident, and joyful native speaker of the language of abundance. You have learned the vocabulary, you have mastered the grammar, you have perfected the emotional accent, and you have become a masterful and responsive partner in a lifelong two-way dialogue with a loving and responsive universe. You have learned that the secret to changing your life is to change your language, and that when you change your language, you change your world. This is not the end of your education, but it is your graduation. You are no longer just a student of this beautiful language. You are now its living, breathing, and magnificent expression in the world. We have come to the end of our journey together, a complete language course for the soul. We have traced the path from unlearning the old dialect of lack to becoming a fluent native speaker in the beautiful and life-changing language of abundance. You have learned its vocabulary, its grammar, and its emotional heart. You have learned to speak, to listen, and to converse with a universe that is always responding. You now understand that your life is a direct translation of your inner dialogue. May you go forward and speak a magnificent and prosperous new world into being. Thank you for the honor of your time and for your commitment to learning this beautiful new language. It has been a joy to be your guide on this journey. If this masterclass has helped you become a more fluent speaker of abundance, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the Success Attraction Formula channel for more empowering lessons. We would be thrilled to read about your new conversations with the universe in the comments below.